In USA alone, there are something like 25 colleges of Ayurveda. Would you believe it? They have grown in the last 10 years. Why? Because there is a growing demand for this science. So I am not selling you Ayurveda. No. What I am trying to explain to you is that what we may teach may appear so simple, like when you are bleeding, you must rest. Oh, it's profound wisdom. And we will try to shed light on why it is important and what damage we have done to ourselves by behaving like men during a very female cycle. We can wear the pants and we can burn the bra, but we don't have to cut the whole reproductive system apart to trying to be a man. How's that? To be a woman, to accept our femininity, and to understand that when you are a woman, whether we go through childbirth or not, these organs within us make us the mother of the world. They make us very soft, they make us very vulnerable, and they make us very strong. And if we are able to go through this cycle, we will be able to be better established in our feminine health, power, and expression. So are you ready? These kind of teachings where a woman is told that you need not rest, you eat anything you want, you can run in Olympics if you need to, it's all okay. This is a very general cookie cutter approach. But Ayurveda is very customized. Even for exercising, in the 6 seasons we tell you which season to exercise in, which is this season, and which season to sleep in the daytime, which is the coming up season of summer. So, because seasons relate to sun and moon, similarly the reproductive system in the woman has a lot to do with rasa or fluid, which is moon. We will talk more about it. The esoteric part we will talk about, the factual biological part we will talk about. Our goal is not to make you medically charged with Ayurvedic knowledge, but to be more informed that it is important to look after our health as a female. And if there are men in this room, thank you for coming. We have a wonderful father and a husband and a guru teacher here. So for men, for women, this knowledge is very important because men have daughters, men have daughter-in-laws, men have spouses. So if men also get this knowledge, then they can support the women, be it any relationship in their life, better. If there was a culture where a woman could say that I think my moon cycle has arrived, and suddenly all love, affection, tenderness arrived to this woman, then it would be so nice. But that is somewhat lacking. We are meant to go on with our run-of-the-mill day, right? So it is now for us, we cannot change our landscape completely. We are in the world we are in. We may have to commute, we may have to do what we have to do. However, if we are aware, then we will treat ourselves more first class. How's that? We will say, I am going to breathe through this, I am going to eat well, I will plan my month around it, I'm not going to throw parties around this, I am going to be quiet and still. And we have some explanations around why we feel tired and emotional around this time. So how I'm going to nurture it. We'll try our best to help you. Of course, there is a class coming up on June 30th and July 1st, 2-day class on women's wellness. We would recommend you to attend that class. And but here at the community level, at least we can tell you what you should not do to hurt yourself. How is that? Are you ready? So, being a female, once a month we receive a gift. And the gift is, do you want to have a baby? Every month, till a certain period of time, nature rushes to us all the ingredients to have a baby. So as far as nature is concerned, it is looking at us as a potential creator of the species. So the best in everything is moving for a few days downwards. So do you all notice some tiredness even before your period begins? So now the doshas start dancing. And Abhiji is our Pied Piper, and he will tell us about the dancing doshas. Abhiji, we were having this animated discussion in the morning in our study, and you were telling me how you were the one who said, right, that basically nature every month is thinking she might get pregnant this month. It's really important, Even if we will never conceive, even if we have become, now, I as a woman who has now gone into a renunciate life, says, oh, my body is so blessed. It's just a moment. Do you want to acknowledge that? It feels good, Whether we are a renunciate, whether we are single, whether we have passed that age, just to enjoy nature. Just to enjoy nature. That's more important. Then the doshas start getting active. So do you want to share some things?
Yeah. I mean, it was very nicely quoted by you that basically this all will help to cherish womanhood.
Cherish.
Yeah. I will try to be less theoretical, but I may go into more theory part to understand how actually body goes into changes during this time and even before that. We all know about the three basic physiological principles, like the air, which is representing Vata, the fire, which is represented by Pitta, and the Kapha, which represents the structural entity of the body. Now, Ayurveda has very beautifully classified the woman's entire life into three age groups. Okay, it says from age 16, from 1 to 16 is a Balya age, is a childhood. Okay, and from 16 to 40 is the period where the potential of getting conceiving is more, from 16 to 14. So that age group is separately mentioned. And from 14 to 50 is the premenopausal stage. So that age is separately mentioned as a premenopausal age group or age. And after 50 is the menopausal age, or when the moon cycle stops. So naturally, as we age, the dominance of dosha changes in each age group. Okay. Now, in the 16 to 40, there is more predominant of Pitta dosha, the fire, and that represents in the monthly elimination of having the periods, having the menstrual flow. From 16 to 40, this naturally in high level of Pitta goes down, and there is more Vata coming into action. So there are some changes going on in the body which represents the premenopausal stage. And after 50, the Vata is more dominant. Okay. I will go into more detail when I explain into how actually it can manifest and what kind of changes takes place physiologically. But overall, you can see that the dominance of dosha changes in all this 3 age group. Similarly, in each month, there are changes in the body which takes place. After the last day of menstrual flow, the next 13 days are more kapha dominant. Why? Because we believe that among the 7 body tissues, we call it the nutrition tissue, the blood, the muscle, the bones, the neurological tissue, nervous tissue, and the shukra, which is the sperm or ovum. Among these 7 tissues, the first tissue is the nutritional fluid, which we call rasa. This rasa is responsible to make all the changes in the uterus before the cycle. So, the entire nutritional fluid in the body, not the entire part of it, is flowing into the uterus, preparing the uterus, preparing the environment in the uterus, so that if at all there is a conception, all the nutrition is there to feed the embryo, to feed the growth of a new growth. You got it? So this rasa is the nutritional fluid which flows from the body to the uterus, and it prepares the uterus for this. And that's why there are sometimes some changes in the body like weakness, okay, because the nutritional fluid is more flowing toward the uterus. And there can be changes in the mood also. I mean, sometimes there is depression or sometimes there is anxiety, changes in the body like that. The second phase is when this is prepared. The second phase is when the pitta becomes more dominant. That is when the ovulation takes place. Okay, from 13 to next few days. And then when actually the menstrual flow is happening for 3 to 8 days, it varies from person to person. That is the most active stage of vata, because vata is responsible for elimination of this prepared fluid which was not utilized, and it has to go out.
So the first stage is kapha, when the nutrition is being prepared. Then the second stage is pitta, when the ovulation is taking place. And the third stage is vata, to eliminate it.
So in this, as you see, this changes has to be taken care of in that period. Particularly the 4 days of menstrual flow is more vata dominant. There are more vata activities. The vata is moving in downward direction and it is trying to do the action of menstrual flow. So it's quite obvious, if the body is having more vata activity, how we can take care that the vata is not aggravated more. What are the food? What are the choices in food? What are the choices in lifestyle? How we can take care of it. So that is most important in this. Particularly excessive exercise during this days will again aggravate vata according to Ayurveda. Having food which is more spicy, pungent, bitter will aggravate more vata, more air in the system. Then sexual indulgence, particularly during this period when the menstrual flow is going on, will again aggravate more vata. Working late nights will aggravate vata, will aggravate this drying effect of vata. And what it can lead to? It can lead to painful menstruations first. It can lead to even sometimes excess also. But most commonly, painful menstruation is the main effect of excess vata imbalance. How to take care is choose the food which is very not hot, spicy, not bitter, pungent. It should be light to digest. It should have some unctuousness. The best choice is, of course, the ghee, krita, which we always make a point to explain how this unctuous grita is more beneficial to health.
And we have it for sale here.
Yeah, we do have it.
As a fundraiser for Vedic. Organic ghee.
Yeah, so a good choice in selecting food which is not hot, very spicy, no alcohol during this time, because again alcohol can aggravate more vata, create more dryness in the system, more pitta, fire in the system, which can create excess menstrual flow. Apart from this, if possible, make it a point that the body is given rest during this time. Rest in the sense, even it can be a 10-15 minutes nap during the daytime during this period is okay, irrespective of whatever the rutu is, whatever the season is. But a rest for 10-15 minutes even in the day would do. And choose exercise, choosing a strenuous exercise will definitely increase more vata. More air activity, which can create more excess painful menstruation.
Abhijit, what about too much thinking, worrying, talking?
Mental activities, obviously chintan is one of the, chintan means excess thinking and worries. During this period, obviously can increase more vata. So, the most important things in food, in your approach towards stressful situation, how you interact or how you face stressful situation, and how you are straining your physical body is more important during this days of menstruation. Oiling yourself, if at all there is painful menstruation, is important, but not full body abhyanga or full body massage. But if there is some cramps or some painful back pain or some pain in the legs, then sesame oil abhyanga would be very effective in this condition.
On the lower back.
On the lower back and the knees, if at all, or the legs.
Sometimes a hot water bottle can also be used when there is cramping, pain.
Yes, because
after a mild oil application.
After oil application, if there is some form of heat applied, it's always very beneficial to reduce pain.
But I wanted to add that the hot water bottle would be a contraindication if you have heavy bleeding.
Yeah.
It's more for crampy, painful, dysmenorrhea, menorrhea, typical bleeding. But if you're already having heavy bleeding, the heat will open up the channels, and more blood will come out, so it will be contraindicated.
So basically we have to understand which dosha is more active in this time, and that has to be taken care of. That's very important. There are other many simple things which makes a lot of difference in taking a good care. If there is at all excess menstruation flow, then the chances are that the pitta or the fire has gone high, and that actually leads to more menstrual flow, more excess flow.
Heavy
flow. So the main cause for heavy flow is excess pitta or excess fire. So if somebody is suffering with that condition, then obviously along with taking care of vata, we should also take care that excess heating things are not consumed. Again, spicy, hot things are very important there, and to be avoided. Alcohol would be very heating and very fire increasing in that sense. And also some food items like vinegar. Yeah, that was.
Vinegar, pickles, spicy things, fermented things.
They won't be good if there is excess flow, because that will again increase the excess fire component in it. Also, we can say there are certain things which are sour in taste because sour increases fire. So eating excess sour during this period is not good if there is excess flow. And the best example is yogurt, which is actually sour in taste after post-digestion effect, or having excess even pickles or sour fruits, excess sour fruits are
like
also,
grapefruit, etc.
yeah.
If you have pitta, high pitta, and heavy red periods, and this is not medical advice, if you're unsure, you have to come to our Vedika Seva Wellness clinics and get like a more customized. But this is in general that you don't want to increase the heat during that, but even before that, right?
Mhm.
It's actually even before that is when it's happening. So you have to plan and have a diet like that, I would say, for the whole month. Yes.
Could you comment on using castor oil as a laxative during this time?
We can talk about laxatives, yeah. Sometimes when Vata is more, then there is constipation.
Yeah, as I said, if the vata is more, then it can also lead to constipation. So in that case, we can help something which will relieve the constipation because the air is traveling in the downward direction. Okay, and the menstrual flow is also in the downward direction. So if we can help something which will improve the bowel clearance, it will also improve the downward movement of air, and which will help in easy flow, painless flow of menstruation. So there, I think the role of black raisins would be good. A simple black raisins can be taken for constipation, or Triphala is one combination of 3 herbs which is very useful in that case. And I would say that the extent and the exact pathology in which dosha is more into imbalance is something which needs to be more clinically understood. But what we are trying to understand here is general what changes the body goes into during the menstrual.
Yeah, I also don't feel that castor oil can be given as a general home remedy because it pulls out a lot of liquid. So it depends, you know.
And it needs more medical physician advice, I would say, that which even herb is more
But if
useful.
one has constipation, then even drinking warm milk
Mhm.
with some ghee added to it, or soaking raisins in it, cooking it, and then eating it, it will all create a bowel movement, you know. And if we have a tendency to get constipated along with some cramping pain, then we know that pain plus dryness, that is Vata dosha. And so around the month, I personally feel that for periods around the month, they have to be more aware, right? But specifically during that time, as Abhiji said, some little help with Triphala, which is an herb that can be taken at night when you buy it from a shop, you know, some instructions will come with it, how to take it. And just for those days, you can take some help, you know. And black raisins is what we prefer.
And this is in particular if somebody is having constipation during those days. So it points that the vata is slightly increased, so we need to help it to go out easily, to help it channelize it easily. There can be many other herbs or advice according to the condition, but if you consider the changes through which the body goes in the cycle, the main thing is the vata, the air, which is more dominant, and we should not do any activities which will increase that in excess. Second important is the pitta, again the fire, which is present in the blood tissue. Okay, so that blood, if it becomes hot, the menstruation will be more painful, there will be excess flow, there will be hot burning symptoms. So this all relates to the increased fire entity in the menstrual flow. So food which will take balance of both this is the best choice.
So maybe figs Figs could be a good for hot.
Dates.
This heavy period. Dates.
Dates would be good.
Dates would be great. Rose water, naturally made rose sharbat. Pomegranate. These things. To cool. More cool.
I think we can go with the questions.
Questions, yeah.
So that
Are we
will
clear?
just flow.
Yeah, go ahead.
So sometimes what can happen is the inverse of the constipation is just a lot of loose stool. How can you comment on that?
Yeah, excess loose motions is nothing but the excess fluidity because of excess heat. So we believe that excess, loose motion is a symptom where the fire is high. So there we need to opt for something which is cooling, which is kind of drying, plus something which will be astringent kind of quality. So even the food will be chosen accordingly. We won't go for something very hot or something sour things at that time.
And we would recommend that if there is always diarrhea with stools, I think medical advice should be sought.
Sure. I was talking specifically during
Yeah.
menses.
Even then, medical advice should be sought. That means pick is overall very high and
Exactly.
it needs to be addressed at a digestive level also. Any other question?
What about intense food cravings, especially pre-cycle?
Mhm. It may not be of any specific taste, right?
Right.
The reason I ask this is because it may have some relation with what changes it goes into. But as I said that before, there is a lot of changes related to fire, and also the nutrition fluid, which is giving nutrition to whole body, which we call the rasadhatu. Part of it is completely diverted to the uterus. So there is lack of some nutritional supply. So that can be reflected in form of craving. If somebody is going into that need of excess supply, you got it. If somebody is having sufficient quantity of rasadhatu, he may not crave. She may not crave for that. Okay.
It's just like when women are lactating, they are losing some of that nutritive tissue, not losing it, but they are converting it into
Converting.
milk. So sometimes these women have, we say you are eating for two, and the woman also feels a lot of like cravings she had never felt for before, So you are an Ayurveda student, so you can see what kind of craving am I having. Because if it is for sweet things, okay, or guru things, heavy things, most probably your nutritive tissue is lacking earth, okay. So as we are explaining that the nutritive tissue is now flowing from the rest of the cells of the body downwards towards the uterus. So there is a temporary lack of nutrition created at times. Now if you have a healthy diet, as you are learning at Vedika, you are eating seasonally and you have meditated, contemplated on what is the right thing, then ideally you should not feel the craving. But if you feel the craving and it's not just a mental thing, it's like real, then you need to pay attention to your food, and you can increase some of the nutrition pre and during this cycle, especially just before, with things like sweet juices, green mung soup, which is very nutritious, with some ghee in it, and some milk, cooked milk, which is quickly supplies rasa or nutrition to the body. Then goat meat soup. Goat meat soup, if you're a non-vegetarian and if you can source organic goat meat cooked along with bones and this broth comes out, that would be very nutritious. And you might see then just in a couple of cycles, as you introduce more nutritious foods throughout the month, then your cycle will not create unique cravings. One of the things with the modern American women, which I'm sorry to say I noticed, was that we read a lot on websites and magazines, and our life has become limited to 1 cup of yogurt, little baggie of carrots. It's like so fixed from day to day, monotonous, or a can of something. So what happens is we are maybe eating calorie low, and weight optimizing, whatever, but it may or may not be meeting the 5 element need in the body. And the 5 elements are ether, air, fire, water, and earth. If you want to understand more about the 5 elements and the doshas, you must come to the Ayurveda fundamentals class. The next one is on May 12th, because we have created so many offerings for you not to remain ignorant. So we have created free classes such as this one. We have created a $40 3-hour class with a meal. It's a deal where people are teaching you every nitty-gritty. And then we are giving you a 2-month course in a very serious college to benefit, and we have some graduates sitting here who can talk about their benefit. And then we have up to 5 years to study. So there is no reason to say, well, I didn't understand. Try to understand, because it is a very amazing science which correlates with quantum physics. So you need all these 5. And if we are just eating jello, for example, I don't know what we are getting. So we feel temporarily satiated, but it does not, क्या बोलते हैं, प्रीणन. It does not do प्रीणन, English nourishment of the nutritive tissue, rasa dhatu for the students, which is involved in menarche. And when you are about to lose so much of your nutritive tissue, if a temporary lack is created, body will create craving. And from that point of view, as a woman, I will say to you, respect that craving. Of course, following all other Ayurvedic rules, like just because you want a fruit at night at 11 p.m. doesn't mean, sorry Shunya ji, no matter what you taught us, I'm having my period, so I'm a queen and I'll have it. No. I'm still saying to you that you can't have fruits late at night. I'm still saying to you that there are some rules that we have been constantly teaching you, and you must keep coming to learn them or join our courses, preferably. The 2-month course changes your life. And the way I can say this just sitting here is because when you join the 2-month course, I or he don't get richer. We are all volunteering here. It's you who get richer with your health. So if you learn this knowledge and benefit from it, makes change. So this craving, watch it and see. And if it's repetitive, then you need to introduce it throughout the month. What are you lacking? Next question. Any questions? Moods, emotions? Come on, women, it's your chance. Yes, Jody?
Just around oiling and how, I remember you saying in the past that it's not good to oil while you're feeding, but it is okay to oil if you have cramps. But I'm just curious why not Abhyanga? If Vata is...
Because Vata is flowing downwards. And when you start working on oil with every joint, you are working on Vyana Vayu instead of Apana Vayu, downward moving Vayu. That is why we don't even want to do too much talking or running. We don't want to de-channelize the Vayu, because you imagine that you have net amount of electricity. It's doing some work, right? Or you can say mechanical power, that's Vayu, right? And you want it going, your body is like a machine. You want it going downwards and bring out this nutrition, because if it stays here, there's a problem.
Yeah, that again is...
That's a problem.
Like we believe that even if the menstruation is scanty, very less, over a period of few months, that can create some adverse effects in the uterine health. And we see that. I mean, there are chances of the uterus going into a bulky state is usually seen when it is preceded by scanty menstruation or delayed or irregular menstruation. So this is something which the body is not requiring, and it has to be eliminated properly. And we have to help it to happen properly.
Can you talk a little bit more on the mood fluctuations and what it means if you have like, personally I have for like 7 days before my period, like something will start to shift where I'll get really sensitive, or like 5 to 7 days before it happens. What is that? And does it mean if it comes further before your period, or if it comes like when those mood fluctuations
Well, first
happen?
of all, as women, we have the birthright to be emotional throughout. Let's get that out of the way. Let's not be apologetic. We are more emotional. That's okay. That's who we are. Let's not try to overly try not to be emotional. However, the sensitivity. So this rasa, if you remember from your class, is prerna, which means contentment. It not only gives physical contentment of the body, but also a mental contentment. But if all your contentment providing liquid is going out of you and moving downwards, the first thing we women start feeling is we are in the wrong life with the wrong partner in the wrong house. People like me feel on the wrong planet. Discontentment. Here Vedanta comes in useful and knowledge comes in useful, where we should not take decisions based upon this mood. We should allow it to pass. High tide. Don't swim. Yeah. One is that. Okay. But again I said, if you replenish your body with the goat meat soup, warm milk, and we are going to show you, we're going to give you a sample of a milk cooked with an herb, shatavari, and it is a kalpa, so it has saffron, cardamom, other things in it. We're going to cook that, and this is, you can buy it from, we can give you a resource where to buy it from. So if like say a few days, 7 to 10 days before your period and through your period, no, actually just before your period, through your period and after your period, to replenish yourself. So just before, through and after. If you can drink a milk cooked with this, and if you're allergic to milk for any reason, then you need to study Ayurveda and benefit from it. Because we don't believe in allergies, you're just thinking that you're allergic. Have you heard of any plant being allergic to anything? Only we humans have turned allergic to the plants. And plants are also living creatures. It is our own wrong knowledge that we become allergic. Anyway, but if you are for now lactose intolerant, you can even have the shatavari kalpa in hot water. Hot water. So it's kind of a nutrition, and shatavari is a root, and it provides nutritional units for this nutritive fluid. Then you will notice that you're not that emotional. So sorry to break the bubble, but our emotions are based on our nutritive level. At least here. It's one level. Because it's truly a fact that when this dhatu, go back and read on the function of the dhatu, rasa is giving prerna, rakta is giving jivanam, life. Rakta also, blood also we are losing, so we feel exhausted. Our vitality factor is going out. But then because we are modern women, we have lost the right to even complain. And we have to commute also, we have to cook the dinner also, we have to put up a bold face also, we have to hide a little condom in the purse also, as if some crime is going on and nobody should know about it. That's very, very strange.
And one more question about tampons versus pads.
Yeah, pads. Because we don't want to put anything, first of all, you're going up. Remember, the causes of dosha vriddhi, dosha increases. You don't want to misdirect the flow of the dosha. And vayu is always going downwards. So we should very much avoid tampon. And we should avoid the reasons to wear tampons is the thing. That why be in such a social or socially appropriate, inappropriate situation. How's that? Remember, English is not our first language. We're doing our best. So that would be a recommendation.
I I've noticed over just the last few months that I've had a lot more tissue in my flow.
Clotting.
Yeah.
Clots.
Yeah, it's like really thick.
That is more of an increase of kapha dosha.
Yeah.
Diet has to be looked at. If your diet during the menstruation, your Agni is, do you think, students, is it high or low? Not that great. But still, if you're eating heavy foods, yogurt especially, foods throughout the season, then even the period, rather than being a nice blood which is flowing, it becomes thick, gelatinous and clotty, which is also not good. It will give side effects later, right? So, what should be the food? The food, if it's American diet or Ayurvedic diet, if you're a student, you will learn Ayurvedic diet, but it has to be laghu or light. It should be some light, doesn't mean by weight, calories, but by can you digest it easily. It should also be nutritive. And Ayurveda believes that certain foods are nutritive, such as green moong dal, ghee, sweet fruits, whole nuts, but not in the fermented bread, but the way we teach it, like a non-fermented. Is tortilla non-fermented, right? Flour? I would prefer a tortilla roll rather than sandwich roll, or the Indian chapati, have you seen that? That is also non-fermented. And how about cream of wheat, things like that, where you can have wheat. Wheat chalega na sir, if it is properly eaten, it will work. And rice. And there is you want to talk about rice, rice water?
Yeah. While cooking rice, the water which is before the rice is properly cooked, only the water which is there in between the stage when it actually is cooked properly. Okay, so you can take that water separate, and that water has a very unique therapeutic value if there is excess flow. So it is very useful where there is excess flow in the menstruation. It helps to combat that very quickly. So that is something which can be easily used.
It replenishes.
And it not only it stops bleeding, but it also replenishes the excess loss, because that is very nutritive in quality, and rice itself is very nutritive. It is unctuous, it is sweet in taste, so that helps to replenish the loss of rasa, the nutritive fluid. So if there is excess flow, this water is very useful. So the most unique thing we can see here is Ayurveda does not only state the relation of blood in the menstruation physiology. It's the nutritive fluid and the blood which is playing a major role in the changes in the uterus. And that is a combination of loss of rasa and rakta, the nutritive fluid as well as the rakta or the blood tissue. So if this is taken care of properly, there won't be any problem, and there will be very healthy moon cycles. Any more questions? Yeah, go on.
I don't know if this is covered already, but I was asking for a friend also my own history of like what are some nutrition suggestions or support for if someone's having a scanty. So my friend has like a scanty period, also like chronic fatigue, also like joint pain. So I'm just wondering.
All of these symptoms indicate vata is aggravated.
Yeah.
Fatigue, vata
Yeah.
dosha. Okay. Then what you said, joint pain.
Joint pain, but also scanty.
Scanty means
like
drying
dry.
out.
Yeah,
The
she's
blood has
dry.
dried out. So this person should follow all the recommendations and also should oil the body for the remaining month. Like oil the body with warm sesame oil before shower, then step into a warm shower. And when this oiling and showering takes place, it should be done on a relatively empty stomach. So if vata is gradually over the month reduced and over several cycles reduced, the cycle will be found to be less painful, the joints would be less cracky, and the fatigue would not be there. Also, when fatigue is there, as so-called chronic fatigue syndrome, whatever we don't know how to help, we call it a syndrome. So whatever is called a syndrome is nothing but poor choices in food, poorer digestion, and a very, very disturbed lifestyle. And so the body is trying its best to heal us. You know, even when you are on deathbed and you have a little cut, the body doesn't know we are dying. It's trying to heal it. Always the body wants to be healthy. Body always, but if we have made it so fatigued, then this person needs an overhaul that you can help look at their food. And the best is to go on khichdi and takra and things like that to clean up the system a little bit. Okay. There is a direct relationship between moon and the cycle. Do you know that? That's why it's called the moon cycle also. More than the esoteric relationship, I would like to tell you that the sun and moon are agents of, sun is an agent of teja units, fire, which ultimately lives as pitta in us. And kapha brings about oiliness, moisture and nourishment, which lives as kapha in us. Which lives as kapha in the beautiful plants also. We say, those of you who've been coming here regularly, you know that spring is a season when kapha gets excited in the environment, in the nature. And that is why all the flowers are so full and plump and juicy. So moon plays a very big role. So one of the ways of connecting with your own kapha, like calmness during this time, is by being aware of the moon, meditating under the moon, you know, when your cycle is going on. And that will make you more feminine, more restful. And the moon in Vedic astrology, and as in also Western astrology, represents the mind or the chitta. For those of you who were in the psychology class yesterday, the moon and the chitta have a role to play. So what happens is, because moon is very involved, our chitta is also quite up. But this is not a time to indulge the vrittis or the thought fluctuations. This is a time to observe, restrain, detach, and come from within. So it's a time to be more calm, to process, to journal, if we can, to physically rest, as Abhiji said, 15-20 minutes, like sit up with your feet, you know, like give yourself the permission to do that if need be. And if we are working, okay, don't work overtime during this time. If you have to drive, but don't start driving to LA at this time. Just if you take care of these few things, there might be some unavoidable trip or even a heavy thing that we have to lift, but it is still a good idea to at least have an ideal in your mind that will help us. A lot of women nowadays, especially teenagers, younger and younger, have started developing periods because of the estrogen laced foods. So try to eat as organic and as natural as possible. Secondly, try not to expose their minds and their chitta to try. We can only try, but the media is everywhere. But there should be less exposure, ideally, to the thoughts of being feminine. And nowadays in the malls and all of that, it's too much attention is paid on that. The child should be more raised in spirit consciousness for as long as we can, you know. And I think resting more, taking on less work, feeding ourselves well, connecting to the moon, meditating a little more, shavasana, corpse posture would be really great, and some gentle alternate nostril breathing without kumbhak, without holding the breath, just in from one nostril, out from the other, in from one nostril, out from the other. This would be very balancing also. That would help. question?
Just a comment, I've heard this a few times, that one theory as to why women live longer is because of the menstrual cycle, that there's some bathing effect or some cleansing, there's something happening just by having a regular monthly cycle. Just toss that out there. And then, there's all these new birth control things coming on the market that are just that are wanting to basically eliminate periods altogether, and just your thought about that.
What do you think?
I'm not for it.
No, what do you think though, scientifically, you're a student now, that if we suppress something that was coming out of the body, which dosha increases? It'll create insanity as far as I'm concerned. Something was coming down, whoop, goes right here. I personally feel that if we meddle with periods, it's the same like you're about to ejaculate your sperm. And there was this whole, trend of like not ejaculating, building up in the name of God and spirituality, which is like so out of context, Do you know this? The yogic movement. But that creates a lot of diseases, including infertility and insanity. The reproductive tissue and the reproductive organs have a great relationship with the mind channel. Do you agree, Abhijit? And when we mess with that, we become very, very disturbed. This is not about, don't mess with God. There are times when science is very useful. And all sciences, including the Western science. But here, I don't know if it's Western science or it's companies which are just creating and spinning off from the, the chemical biological model of intervention to create over-the-counter or even prescribed so-called comfort. And the question of ethics and medical ethics have not been evaluated as to, is this what humanity needs to get better? And if we have been having periods for so long, then why are we just saying go away, do away with it, Or even menopause. Menopause, I think, is a completely socially built up disease. It is not a disease. If we are able to live Ayurvedically, or what is Ayurvedically? It is nothing. It's not Indian. If we are able to live naturally with common sense, in reference to the seasons, in reference to our digestion, what will happen is we will have a very smooth menopause. And a whole question during the give estrogen to prolonged period was, when the whole biological creation and intelligence is trying to stop a certain pipe, why are we trying to keep it on? Oh no, nobody was willing to listen. And even on NPR I heard this, and people were like dismissive of such questions. And then what happened? The whole estrogen movement collapsed. And now it has been known to give heart attacks and cancers and difficulties. But there was one time when hormone replacement therapy, HRT, was what every woman was doing. And the fear that you will have weak bones, you will lose your hair, you will develop cancer, was being explained. This is almost like, preventative action and let's go to war. So it's like that. So, and every time if you have to keep preventing cancer, then there is no limit to what all we have to prevent. How about, let's live healthy, let's have some foundational knowledge about menstruation, how to support it, live accordingly, and have very easy menopause. People who have high vata will have a vata-like menopause. And anyway, menopause or not, as aging occurs, bones become weaker. In a person who has high vata, bones will be more weak. So the question is not menopause. The question is vata dosha. Balance that. So as vata increases, menopause-like symptoms increase. So it is upon us, wherever we are, in whatever age group, to balance the internal working of the forces, the foundational understanding. And then we will be fine. To add anything?
Yeah, I would like to explain how the cycles are also, cycles varies according to your constitution. If somebody is Vata dominant by it's a body constitution
Yes.
with Vata predominancy, the cycles would be, the chances are that they may not be very regular. They may be coming earlier, or like the variations will be there. They may be sometimes earlier, they may sometimes be late, or the duration of flow can also vary. So this variation is normal.
It
This
is a continuum, no problem.
it's a normal thing for that dominant individual, that dominant personality, for Vata dominant personality. Similarly, a Pitta dominant constitution will have more flow. It will have slightly more days flow. 4 days, instead of 4 days, it may have 6-7 days flow. It's a normal thing. And this is seen right from the menarche. It is manifested right from the menarche. So it is something which need not be addressed as a medical condition. But if things change in the later age, then it can be something which has to be needs to be addressed. Similarly, a Kapha dominant constitution individual will have less flow, sometimes thick flow, or it may be delayed also.
And slightly clotty, small clots.
Yeah, sometimes.
Not healthy. These clots are never healthy. So it will be
Clots are
thicker.
generally thicker, you can say, but not
Not
clots.
clotty.
Yeah.
So
in-
clotty is, we have to then now try to change our diet quite well.
So thickness in the flow and less days flow, very regular, is something manifest a Kapha kind of mensuration and seen in Kapha dominant constitution. So these things are also mentioned very clearly in Ayurveda, that we have to consider this according to the variation of constitution dominance. It can't be same for all. It can't be a bookish 3 days, 5 days, 3 to 8 days, and it can't be like 4 days is normal for everybody. It can't be so, because every individual has different proportion of doshas, and that proportion will have its effect on the mensural changes.